Good morning, everybody. Yeah, it's Monday, and it's the Cindy Cochran Show live. You're not listening to a recording, you're listening to me live. Pinch me, Deanie. Oh, youch, I'm live, yes, okay. And we've got Deanie Harmon with us and Bob Berry for the Who Done It series. And I am so excited and privileged to have Joey Sheaf with me, because Joey has his own show. I mean, he came in here to help me, winds up getting his own show. I don't know how that happened. Richard stole him away from me, and it was, I went, okay, let's see, how can I get you back? Oh, there's no way I can. Okay, so anyway, I'm just happy for him because he is an amazing talent. I mean, Deanie, you never met this guy, but this guy can sing like nobody's business. He's a Broadway-type singer with that kind of talent level. And he's an actor, and now he's a radio personality, and he's just a triple threat all around, all around. But I'm so happy that you do have your show. Tell people what your show's about on Thursday at 2 o'clock, right?
Thursday at noon.
Oh, at noon. Good. I'm glad. I was just 2 hours. You'd be 2 hours late for that. No.
It's called Real Talk, and what we do is we just talk about faith, politics, and culture, everything under the sun. We try and look at it from an objective point of view, but of course, I do have my own opinions that I throw in there interspersed. But yeah, we try to have fun. We try and bring the good, bad, and the ugly of what's going on with this. And mainly the whole point of Real Talk is to keep my generation at least informed, right, on top of all other generations, especially in nowadays where my generation, the millennials really have the deciding vote in this election.
It's scary.
Yeah, which is pretty scary, yeah, because we're such a divided generation right now.
Yes.
So any way that I can help merge that divide and just keep people informed, it's a great opportunity. I'm very grateful for
you understand the attention span of a millennial, right? So you have
I have that attention span. Yeah.
So every 2 minutes you have to go like, hey, how about those? So, and then you're like, have y'all played the latest Pokemon? No. Are you still coloring in those coloring books? Yes. Okay. All right, let's go. So anyway, there's a lot of divide. There's a big divide there. But I'm telling you what, so much has happened, and I have been straining at the bits, and you know me, Bob, about being able to come in and talk politics. I love it. Now, he talks politics from you said you try and do it
from an objective point of view, looking at all sides, looking at a certain story, and saying, okay, why are they doing that? Why did this come about? What outcome are we looking at the end of this situation? Then throwing in my opinion, and then asking everybody else. I mean, the listeners, my friends, my family, is like, hey, if you have any opinions, please write me. I'd love to talk about them on this show. I'm always open to other ideas, because I know that I am wrong a lot of the time. And so if I'm wrong about a certain situation and somebody knows something else about it, then definitely let's talk about it.
Well, I'll tell you what, your show is, that whole attitude he has, just the opposite of this show. This show is my opinion's the only one that counts. No, I want to know everybody's opinion to see how right I am. But I do believe that this is real reality radio, is what we call the Cindy Cochran Show. And then if you can't get enough of this, and you need the relief of somebody like Joey on Thursdays at 12 o'clock. Thursdays at 12 o'clock, check in his show. But you're going to be with me all day, right? And all morning,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And Bob Berry and Deanie Harmon are going to come up with a past crime scene, and they will give us the clues of this scene. Or she will give us clues of the scene, because Bob passed it off to Deanie, and Deanie said, I got it. He said he's about run out of scenes, because, they solved all the crime scenes, and now they're working to wait for some others to happen so you can bring them to us, Bob. But Deanie has 17 years experience in the Narcotics division of the Houston PD. Is that right? Correct. Isn't that correct? Okay. And see how soft-spoken she is? She's not soft-spoken. But she's been that undercover agent that's gone in and done all those things that you've seen on TV and in the movies. She's actually experienced it. So we're going to be able to glean from your experience. And as you lay down the clues. We're going to take the clues, and we can ask you questions like we're the detectives. Like you're the person that came on the scene, but we want to be the detectives and ask some questions. And you, the audience, can always message me on Facebook, The Cindy Cochran Show, Cochran, Cochran. But, and also, let me tell you this. If you want to know more about Joey, before I get off on you, you can Google your show. Do you show the Joey Sheeff? It's too hard to spell.
It's just Real Talk. The show is called Real Talk.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, you can find it on SoundCloud as Real Talk Radio Show and as YouTube by the same name.
Yeah, perfect.
And, yeah, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Google this guy. He's all over the place. Okay, and be sure and watch that show. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. As if you want to be involved in the show, you always can. And I've got my computers up. There it is, the Facebook page, and go to messages and message me on what you think, or if you want to ask a question to Deanie or Bob Berry about what the legal ramifications of any of this is. I think we're safe though, because it's a past crime. We're not going to name any names and all that, but it's just fun because you watch those forensic files and all that. I love that stuff as they go through. Even my grandchildren like that, and some of the stuff they have is pretty gory, but they love it because this is real crime stuff that happened. And that's what we're going to be doing. But I got to do some shout outs to some people because I haven't been on the air in so long. And number one is Don Wilson. Everybody knows, remember Don Wilson? Don Wilson was the guy that Elvis took under his wing after his parents, all his family was killed in a car wreck. And he took him under his wing and just mentored the guy. And so Don has met all those people out there, knows all the people, and he just sent me a new picture of him with one of Elvis's former girlfriends. And I'm trying to get her. She listens to the show. I'm trying to get her to come on the show and talk to us about that. But Don is the only conservative that I know in L.A. So he's my L.A. connection for what's going on there, and he just doesn't have to hide, his Trump sign or anything like that. But I got a Trump. I made a T-shirt, a Trump T-shirt. It says "Trump's adorable, deplorable," and my family would not let me wear it out. They were afraid I'd never come back. They said, "You're not wearing that," and the kids say, "Don't wear that. You can't wear that." So I haven't gotten to wear it out. I was spent $25 on this shirt, and I can't wear it out because everybody's afraid what's going to happen. And that made me notice that there's not a lot of stickers, political stickers on people's cars. I don't see a lot of Trump, Pence, Clinton, Kane, stickers at all around town. So I don't know what they do to what they're doing. I don't know if that's just around our area or if it's just around the country that people aren't seeing the political stickers, which is pretty funny. But anyway, also I want to do a shout out to Rosemary Garcia. Who's Rosemary Garcia? You don't know, but she messaged me and said, "Are you the Cindy Cochran that was the signing with Cindy Cochran?" And and then she went on and said some really nice things and things that happened to her life and what that show, did for her. And a lot of times you forget about stuff you've done before. I did the show called Signing with Cindy on Channel 8 and went national. It was on PBS. And so I got letters and that kind of stuff. But you just feel like, nobody remember that, or nobody, it's over with, past. But she brought a lot of things to the future, and I want to talk to her. I said, "Listen, I'm so glad you reached out to me. This made my whole year, that what you said." And so I'm going to be calling her, and she's a listener now, and I wanted to say hello to her, and it's great to have her. I hope Dennis is still listening. I've been gone for so long. I hope he's still out there. Dennis, message me if you're kicking and alive and kicking. Anyway, so also I wanted to tell you about Mark and Kay Hayter. They have a show on Wednesdays at 12 o'clock. So Wednesday at 12 o'clock, you can listen to them. And then Thursday at 12 o'clock, you listen to Joy. But it's called Hanging with the Haters. And I want to do a shout out to them. And then especially announcing that the 25th of this month, that's next Tuesday, we're going to go live, not only live here, but live on FM. So, I told my husband, I said, you're going to have to go get in the car and drive around. He goes, "Well, how far do I have to drive?" I mean, just drive around and listen to it because I'm not going to be able to hear it. So just do that. So I'm telling all my friends, get out in their car, go out, honk your horn if you're listening. No. But they're gonna start doing that just to see what it's like to have us on FM on that. But a lot of people have gotten used to listening to it on their computer. This is so convenient because you just turn it on. You can go all through other things in your computer. You go to irlonestar.com and then just surf through the net. I forgot that was what you say. We're going to go surf through the net. I don't think they say surfing the net anymore. I think that's like really dates you, like in 1980 something that you used to say that. But anyway, and you can do that. But we offer you a lot of different things here on the Cindy Cochran Show. You never know what's going to come up. Isn't that correct, Bob Berry?
That is correct.
Okay, so see, it's verified by a police officer official, and that makes it very official, right? Okay.
I'm still laughing at the surfing.
Oh, okay, shut up. Okay. All right, but I had a great summer, and most of the time was spent listening to the news. And so people go like, how can you listen? My kids, Sam, will come through the room and go like, are you still listening to that? They've said that 5 times. I said, I have to make sure they said it right on each one that I've been, fact checking them. And I have my own fact checker. I have to say it so slowly because I know how it's not a fat checker. He's a fact checker. Is Richard Schischler. And I wanted to say good morning to Richard. And I'm so glad to see you. I've missed you, Richard. Have you missed me?
You've been gone?
I'm going to kill him. He loves me, even though he sends these very terse, I think that's the right word, text messages to me and emails. And you know what that's going to happen? You know what's going to happen? You've got to make sure that you say all nice things and sweet things in the emails. And then, isn't it Instagram that you can say stuff or, Instagram that you can say something and it'll go away? It doesn't stay there. Or
that's Snapchat.
Snapchat.
Yeah.
Snapchat. That's what, that's the one that Hillary should have been on all this time. They should have never let her on anything else but Snapchat, so all that stuff would go away. Now, speaking of Hillary, I'm so glad I don't have time to speak of her because we got to go to a break, don't we, Richard? Okay.
Oops.
Are you? Everybody's going, yes. No, we're going to be coming back. Tease us, Deanie, real quick with one sentence with what we're going to be talking about when we come back for our Whodunit series.
Oh, our Whodunit is going to be a gentleman that was found in his front yard with several bullets in his head.
Several bullets in his head already. Oh. I love this already. Okay. So we'll be right back and we'll figure out who done it, and maybe it was more than one person. We'll see. All right, you're listening to Cindy Cochran Show, Real Reality Radio.
The Cindy Cochran Show, the first daily talk show serving Montgomery County.
I know you know this already, but most of the shows on Lone Star Community Radio are available in podcast format. If you want to keep up with the latest shows, just subscribe to our YouTube channel, Lone Star Community Radio, and our website at irlonestar.com. You can even follow us on SoundCloud and Twitter to see the latest posts from Lone Star Community Radio. Can't find a show? Then just search for it on irlonestar.com in the search bar to the top right of every page. Or just contact us on irlonestar.com/contact us with your questions, demands, sponsorships, anything. Lone Star Community Radio is your Montgomery County community radio station.
The Cindy Cochran Show. You ain't heard nothing yet.
And boy, is that the truth. That's right. You're listening to the Cindy Cochran Show. I'm Cindy Cochran, and I have so many wonderful guests here today. And so we're going to do this little forum for the Whodunit series. We're going to let you can message me on the Cindy Cochran Show Facebook. Go to that and click on messages. And then if you want to ask a question, you want to make a comment, whether it's rude or whatever, it's great because I can read it, or I don't want to read it. It's okay. No, I'll read whatever. In fact, I think the rude comics just comments or make it fun. So Deanie Harmon, remember, 17-year veteran of the HPD. And that should qualify you for anything talking about law. But she's gonna lay down this crime scene. Listen carefully, take notes, and then we'll be able to ask some questions about it. Remember, her tease was that they came upon a man lying in the yard with several bullet holes in his head. So, with that alone, can I ask one question?
Absolutely.
Was he nude or clothed?
He was clothed.
No, okay. That's my questioning. Okay. Do you have a question for that just alone?
Well, was he lying on his back or on his front?
He was lying on his back.
On his back. Okay. So maybe it was like an execution style. Sort
Yeah.
of deal.
Yeah,
Was
so
he on
let
his
me
knees?
let
He
me
fell over?
set,
Okay.
yeah, let me just
All right, give us
set
some
up
more.
the
Give us some more.
scenario, and we are in a Hispanic town, and it's around midnight. He's very well dressed, young man, probably in his 40s. He's laying in the front yard of a residence, and at that particular time, we don't know whose residence it is. There's no weapon, but there is shells, spent shells. He is obviously deceased, and his pockets were all turned in, were pulled out.
Yeah.
So, one of the first things that I noticed when we approached him was the pattern of the bullets in his head. And
The pattern of them.
pattern. They were right in the middle of his forehead, and which, kind of gives you an indication. Think about that. If there are several bullets in one area, what does that tell you about who the shooter might be?
Well, when you say several, were there like 3 or 4 or
Well,
Yeah.
there were 4 spent shells,
4 spent shells?
so we can assume that there was 4 bullets.
Well, it seems like after the first one was delivered, that if he was still kicking or awake or alive or anything, he would have moved, and you wouldn't get the same location for the second shell or the third shell or the fourth shell, unless the first shell put him down, and then there were 2 or 3 others that wanted revenge, and they all, they shot him. That's strictly out of my movie background. Okay, and so would that be right? Would it be that? How could they do that many shells in one
Are you thinking that there is more than one
shooter? Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that?
Is that a yes or a no?
No, there's only one shooter.
Oh, she's shaking her head. No, there's only one shooter.
There's only one shooter.
I guess rapid fire. If you go, and it kind of took him back. But I would just think you'd move to get that many shots in one place. Okay, so go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, there's no weapon. Okay, there is a vehicle with the doors are still open, parked in front on the side of the street. No one is at the location. No one is in the house. It's just this gentleman laying in the front yard. Spent shells. So, I mean, what would you think that the purpose of it? Would you think it's a robbery? Do you think
Because his pockets were inside out?
Do you think it's a hit? Do you think maybe a drug deal or
Drug deal
It-
made to look like a robbery. And
It is not a robbery.
you're on the right track?
see, I said made
Not
to
a
look like a
robbery.
robbery. It was just made to look like one. It was a hit because,
The car is still there with the keys.
right, doors are open.
Don't at this point we don't know if that car does belong to him.
Well, was the car still running?
No, the car was not running.
Okay.
Was it an Escalade? I'm just saying. It seems like
What car model was it? What year was
Was
it?
the engine warm or the
Yes.
hood warm?
The engine was warm.
that's right. You always check the hood. Yeah, that's what the parents would do for a kid that said they've been there for hours, and they go check the hood. It's such a great thing to teach parents. Okay, so if he was shot like that, because that is kind of like execution style. It's not in the back of the head, but if you come up and shoot somebody like that, would you call that execution style?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because, he would have had to be in very, very close proximity to the deceased to get it square between the eyes and his forehead, and then that would have knocked him down straight onto the ground, just gone, and then he would have done it 3 more times just
To make sure.
to make sure, just
Yeah.
to.
Could the shooter be someone, of course, that is a very good shooter,
Absolutely.
trained.
Yes.
Hitman.
Could it be somebody that has either a security or, I won't say police, but somebody that is trained, knows how to handle a weapon, and for some reason, obviously, it's a definitely where they wanted them dead. And I think in that point, with many shells out there, a little bit of anger. It's not a robbery. It is something that knows that person. Also, it is close to that person when the gun was fired. And so that person knew that person to get that close to shoot that well.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to stop there because I'm going to let y'all have a clue or two.
Who made the call?
Right?
You're right on it.
Okay.
You're doing real good with this.
Go ahead, Joey.
So maybe they were like business partners. If it wasn't a robbery, maybe it was like business partners in a drug deal. I mean, were drugs involved? Like, I mean, were drugs ever found or in the house or on the vehicle? Or
later on in the investigation, drugs were involved.
Okay.
Okay. Now, who made the call?
Yeah. Ooh.
Where'd the call come from?
From neighbors that heard the shooting.
Oh, okay.
So that's how we got the information. And when I went out as a crime scene unit, of course, your investigators are already there. So once I approached the crime scene, and, you looked to see where the body is, how the body's laid out, and just looking at the overall general area, where the car, how the body's laid, how the body looks, the pockets, you just kind of survey everything around it. Mm-hmm. And even you look at your audience, because you're starting to get an audience in the crowd.
Returning to the scene of the crime.
And you get that too. So in this particular case, if you want me to go ahead and up, because because Bob's doing pretty good over here.
You may finish?
Go ahead.
Bob's got this grin.
I'll try.
Go ahead, because you're on the right track.
I will try. So this person that shot him was in anger, knew that person because they were close. Probably just guessing the person could have lived in that same house because the door was open in the house. Is that right?
No, the door was not open. The house was, no one was in the house at the time.
Was it locked, though? I mean, was it locked?
No, the house was not locked, but no one was inside the house. And this gentleman was very well dressed, laying in the front yard. He did not, and
were there other vehicles in the driveway?
No,
just the one car.
Just the one car.
Okay. My first question on that is going to be, could it be the wife, spouse, girlfriend? It's an anger issue. It could have been with drugs involved in it, and that person did not like the person that had the drugs. And because of the drugs, either in the car or in him, or they obviously have been fighting in the past. And so that person, my first thing would probably be the wife, or a family member.
Plot twist: it was Deanie.
That's right.
There were five, actually.
Exactly.
Close.
Close.
Mm-hmm.
But you keep saying he was very well dressed. You've said that like 3 times.
What the ultimate outcome of this, after we did the investigation, was the gentleman that was killed was involved heavily with distribution of cocaine. And he had a partner, family partner, and some drugs and money came missing. And usually when that happens, someone's going to pay. and it's almost sometimes telling the organization that you don't do that to us, even if you're family. So hitman, who is also family friend, he approaches him. His intent is to kill him because of the missing money and the drugs, and they knew each other, so he could get in his space and shoot him point blank. He shot him 4 times. It was almost just one hole.
Wow.
4 times. Bam, 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 and dropped him.
He's the security guy, the trained guy to take care of him.
And it was to make a point. It was to make a point that you cannot do this.
Wow.
To the family.
Don't mess with the family.
Yeah.
Wow.
When you're messing with drugs and money, that's
not normal family behavior.
Yeah, they do. Exactly.
I mean, we do things differently in our household, but
Depends on what part of the county you're in.
Exactly.
Usually we have a family meeting and we say, "Hi, is everybody
Yes.
getting along?" Well, yeah.
Usually
Those drugs.
when cocaine goes missing in our house, I mean, we have a
Yeah.
family.
This is-
Just kidding. Just kidding. Probably
This
shouldn't
is
make that joke.
The family
The
Mom's
officers.
gonna get
Okay, I've got my phone going. Okay.
The family meeting starts as, okay, everyone leave their guns, knives, bazookas, hand grenades at the door.
There you go.
And then let's sit down and talk about
We're
it.
gonna have a serious
yeah.
adult conversation about
Serious
who
meeting.
who did wrong.
That's great. I love that. No, I feel like it was so obvious about the pockets being like that somebody was trying to make it look like, but not when you do 4, bullets in the head in the same place would not look
It's
like
all
it
very
was,
quickly. And
Yeah.
I mean, and there is no telling what they were looking for to pull the pockets out. But it was done very quickly and so fast that the neighbors that heard the shooting never even saw who even did the shooting.
Right. Wow.
Because that's how quick these professional hitmen are. That is their job.
And plus it could have been Guido from down the street that came to and pulled his pockets out. Well, maybe they left some money. I don't know. They killed him, but they left some money. And the doors were open of the car. So you may have like a secondary robbery that happened after that. Some guy laying on the street. That's what's bad is that when you make that call, you know that you're going to get involved and then you're going to be questioned and all that. So I'm glad somebody called. That makes me feel better about society. And now we've got another break to take, and we will be right back. Do not go away. You're listening to Cindy Cochran Show, Real Reality Radio.
The Cindy Cochran Show, Real Reality Radio.
Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station, and we are looking for talk show hosts and volunteer DJs for our music shows. Are you interested in having your own talk show on Lone Star, or have you always wanted to live out your dreams of being a music DJ? With the addition of Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1 and video aspects of our talk shows, we are needing people to grow with us. If you or someone you know might be interested, please contact us online at irlonestar.com/contact us, or call the station at 936-647-5747 for more information.
The Cindy Cochran Show, the first daily talk show serving Montgomery County.
And you're back on the Cindy Cochran Show. It is Monday. And remember, Mondays are always whodunit days. So we have Bob Berry and Deanie Harmon with us on Mondays to kind of kick off the start of the week with some really exciting, uplifting message. And, crime doesn't pay.
I'll have some really good ones coming up for you.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that was really good.
I like that. I think one of the ones that we had that was so weird that we, really struggled over was the guy that Bob brought us. That was sitting up at his desk, and he was sitting up in the chair, and there's just a little pool of blood. It was like something from Clue, from the game Clue, trying to figure out all those things and bring those together. So I love that stuff. I mean, really, that was good. I like that. In fact, we ask all the the questions you can't ask on the air as soon as we go off the air, and those are the ones you really want to know. And since this is real reality, I'll let you know what we ask. I wanted to know what the body looked like. Like, was the body ashen, or there was a color change in the face and all that? And she says, no, when you get 4 shots to the head, the heart pretty well stops, and there's not a lot of blood. Was the back of his head blown out? There had to be, was there brains hanging out or anything like that?
Well, sure. I mean, you've got an entrance wound and an exit wound. The exit wound is always going to be the more aggressive destruction. Because when the bullet enters the brain,
right,
or enters the body, it explodes, and then it explodes outward.
Right.
So it makes a massive exit hole.
And if you got 4 bullets that went in there, was there anything left in the back of his head? Was it?
Not
just
much.
Not much. Clean, see-through.
Just to give you an idea, in the front it's going to come out like a penny.
Exactly.
Or go in like a penny. And on the outside of it, on the back, it doesn't matter if it's an arm or head or whatever. When it comes out, it could be a small plate.
Right.
Jeez.
Wow.
A teacup saucer.
So you're really
size.
having to pick them up like this.
How's that?
Like hold the back of their head and the brains in while you pick them up, right? To try and put them in.
It was a whole lot lighter on that end, yeah.
Okay. Yikes! I love it. And then Joey said, I've heard about hitmen in the movies. Of course, he's a millennial now, so I understand this. And he's a millennial. He says, I've heard about that, but I didn't know there's really hitmen out there. How many hitmen have you come in contact with? And so Deanie got to tell him it's really and it's a very lucrative job to have. And so she's not recruiting or anything, but she's just saying if you end up in that position, oh, that's terrible. Imagine you don't go to school for anything like that. You kind of just become one, I guess. I'd love to what's the evolution process to a person that becomes a professional hitman? That somebody calls him up and says, hey, I got a hit for you down in downtown Houston. You go to and just when he comes out, and this is what he looks like, and take him out. And if somebody kills somebody like that and they leave town, that's got to be harder.
It's a job
to find. Yeah, if they don't
believe it or not, a hitman, it's a job,
right?
And
working 9 to 5. You really think it's that kind of feeling?
They get paid good money. They are basically no feelings, very hardened people, and they have a job to do, and they go and do it.
Well, would y'all say that when you encounter a case that involves a professional hit, it's harder to solve just because of the way they handled the murder? Because, I mean, you kind of knew the aggression part because of the 4 bullets, but beyond that, how did y'all end up catching this guy? Or in the investigation, I know y'all found more.
Yeah, that's a good question. And how they found out about the hitman was through informants, through people that knew that he, and that's where people get caught most, is people talking, informants, and this particular hitman got to drinking one night, got to sitting around with his buddies. And that's the biggest no-no a hitman could ever do if he's a good professional hitman, is you don't sit around drinking.
Kiss and tell.
You don't kiss and tell.
Why would you stay and be a hitman in one area? Why wouldn't you always go out of town to do your hit?
Oh, well, I mean, they do. They come in and out of town. I mean, they have travel miles.
They have a retainer. Yeah.
They're saving up for a good vacation to go through.
There you go.
Travelocity's next ad. If you've got a hit in a town, we have plenty of places for you to stay, and everyone will never know. But I think that it's interesting to me that these guys talk. They do talk about each other, and the first thing you think of they would never ever do was to brag to anybody or tell anybody I got away with it. Why would I do that? But when they drink, that you're right, the drinking would have something to do with it. But if they're that non-feeling, and that's what made them the hitman, is they don't feel anything. But there are people that have this disease that they don't know right from wrong. They cannot tell right from wrong, and so it wouldn't matter what they did. It's all okay with.
I think you'd be surprised what people will do for money, Cindy. You're giving them too much credit.
I'm trying. There's something good in that person, but I think that's what fascinates me is that you could do that and then go have coffee with somebody or.
If you're in doing your case, is it something when you see something like that happen? Is it somewhere like you go higher up in the police force, like, oh, we're dealing with something more serious than just some random guy shooting a guy in the street, or is it the same people handle the same case?
Well, no. Actually, I know within Houston, homicide, if it's a murder or a hit, homicide's going to handle it.
Because I always wondered that the TV shows and that's all our real experience is there's always like, oh, it's getting escalated to the FBI or it's getting escalated to.
Well, when you bring FBI in, it depends on who, if lines have been crossed, what the crime's really all about. But 9 times out of 10, if it's happening in your town and it's just a hit right here, no, I mean you're not going to bring FBI in. It's just you're going to handle it. Your own department.
I have a question. I think that you don't have to answer it if you don't want to. But is it true that there is the feeling of, I don't want the FBI involved in this, and if we can keep it, to ourselves, that would be great. Now, if it gets out in the media and all that's out there, then the FBI will find out about it and come in. So let's try and handle this ourselves. And is there contention? Is there competitiveness? Is there you don't like the FBI coming in and taking over the case? Can you say that? You're retired. You can say it.
Well, when the FBI gets involved, it's because there is a jurisdictional reason, mainly. There is a purpose that they get involved. If there's a homicide and it's just a local homicide and there's nothing more to it than someone getting killed, the FBI is not going to have any interest in that. If it's someone that's a political or it's a federal crime or it's
what if it's
a little bit
what if it's politicized or if it's publicized and they get a lot of attention, will that draw them in?
Well, there's a lot to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just them coming in going, okay, well, we're going to take over this investigation. There's criterias that have to go to it.
Okay, so
help me out here, Bob. It's like
Bob
if there's a bank robbery.
Let's just say that most agencies, okay, they come in and they have their own crime scene.
Mm-hmm.
They have their own detectives,
right?
And I would say 99% of those cases are done in their local agency. Even times when the FBI or somebody else comes in, we still do that. We still do the stuff that we would normally do, just like we would.
Yeah, but you become their minions at that point, right?
Well, it depends on what they want to take over. It could be drugs. It could be some other kind of crime. It could be
a kidnapping.
Yeah, it could be a child that was killed or is missing, and we've dealt with that. They have things that we may not have, especially when it comes to missing persons. Mm-hmm. And I actually worked in a case where the child was stolen. The parents, their ability to keep that kid was not. The judge says, no, you're no longer the parents, and they turned it over to somebody else. But they showed up, they stole the child, and they took off to Ohio with it. And it took us until we got to Ohio, and it got with the FBI and other areas.
Uh-huh.
And we found them in a day and a half, and exactly what we were thinking. And but they helped us with information. They didn't take over the case.
Right.
I mean, we still went into state court and put them in prison and da-da-da-da-da. But the FBI worked.
And what was that last?
Da-da-da-da.
Okay.
Yeah, that's important. It just keeps on going. And but actually they helped us, okay, but they didn't take over.
Right.
And the only time that they're going to get in there was going to be if it was a lot of money, drugs, different things like that. That's
Or could they have some kind of international?
well, international, or it could even be something that's like you were saying earlier, like a candidate or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it comes in at. And you see a lot of this stuff on TV where they say, well, we don't like you and you don't like us.
Right.
And, you're taking over my stuff and da-da-da-da-da. It could happen, but at the same time, we do like we're always doing.
Mm-hmm.
We always take care of our own stuff. And then from there, it's that.
Because you are the people.
The ultimate goal, too, when you've got multiple law enforcement agencies involved with one another, is to work together.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And back years ago, when the FBI stepped in, we had issues. The FBI is trying to take over our case, blah, blah, blah. I think you find now these days that every organization that's involved in any particular crime, they work together as a team. Because each entity, each department has something that they may be able to offer that you don't have. Like FBI's got some better technology, equipment, or forensics that we can send stuff to their labs. So
that makes sense.
Now this day and time, I think if I see it, that they do work together, and which is the way it should always be.
Amen, brother. That's a good way to end this segment. Is that we always should do that. Work together.
Just real quick, here in the state of Texas, the Texas Rangers actually help us as well.
Mm-hmm.
The Texas Rangers.
And
not
people,
the baseball.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. They have a better they're a clearing percentage than what they do. But But they actually help us a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Technology, information.
Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. And you make Mondays I can't wait for Mondays. It's going to be so much fun. And I can't wait for Thursdays at 12 o'clock with Joey. And I can't wait to come on your show. So I'll be on Joey's Sheep Show at 12 o'clock on Thursday. So I look forward to that. Thank you so much. We're going for a break right now. We'll be right back. And I've got this for you. This just happened before I left my house about something that you got to hear. It has to do with Hillary. Okay, we'll be right back.
The Cindy Cochran Show. You ain't heard nothing yet.
Want to check out what it's like to be on the radio? Need credit for school? For an internship? Then contact Dick online at dick@irlonestar.com. Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station, and we are here to be part of the community.
The Cindy Cochran Show, the most opinionated talk show on radio.
And we're back on the Cindy Cochran Show. Hey, listen, if you love to hear about politics, this is the place to be. If you love to hear about the Housewives shows and catch up on those, this is the place to be tomorrow. And also the fantasy football and the different types of programming for single mothers. It's all going to be in one person. Brianna Donahoe is going to be with me tomorrow, and she's going to talk about and Below Deck. We love Below Deck. That is a reality show that happens on Bravo, and we just love that. So we're going to talk about it. And some people go like, I'm going to turn it off if you're going to talk about that. It says, okay, is that or Hillary and Donald? So whatever you want, I'm talking about. It's going to be fun. If you'll listen to this, you'll probably even start wanting to watch the show as well. But listen, if you were a politician today, would you ever write another email? I wouldn't. I would think that's the last thing I would. I mean, I love my emails, and if anybody wants to read them, that's fine with me. Great. I love that. But if you're a politician and you're writing the same things that you're writing now, this thing, Julian Assange, you've heard of Julian Assange, okay? And WikiLeaks, you've heard of WikiLeaks. So here's the founder, and he has been releasing like 1,000 emails a day that he has found on Hillary's server and Podesta's server and all that. And now he has his own email snag. Have you heard about this? That a state actor, that's what he's calling it, has blocked his internet access. That's so funny to me. He's blocked his internet access, and he's getting ready to dump the the biggest bombshell that he's been saying that's going to happen to Hillary's campaign.
Guess where that came from?
Yeah. And what's so bad? Here's a clue: is that she was in a meeting with people and they were talking about what he's doing and all this stuff, and she says, "Can't we just drone that guy?" And everybody kind of started laughing, kind of nervously, and so she was asked about it because you said, couldn't we just drone that guy? She says, I don't recall that. I don't recall ever saying that. And especially, I wouldn't have laughed about it. No, I wouldn't. It was just a joke. It was just a joke. Anyway, so she tried to tell that joke. It didn't joke and it didn't work. But now he's actually trying to get all this back up before. We only have how many days? It's the 8th, only a couple of weeks left before the actual election. So my birthday's November 6th. I'm not saying that for any reason except that it's only 2 days then away from the election. So I'm really excited about the election. And you guys that have been Trump haters and that you think I am so stupid and I'm ignorant and I'm one of these knuckle draggers, I'm telling you that there's something that's going to happen. I just feel this, and something's going to happen. And people are going to be astounded. Like, wait a minute, all the polls showed us these numbers. What happened? And I'm telling you, my husband cannot stand Donald Trump. But here's the thing. He says, this is what I tell people. All right, I want you to think about this. Just say these 2 words in your head, Supreme Court. Supreme Court. And then just look down there and punch the button, because that's what the Supreme Court will be with us for decades. These guys are going to go away for 8 years, but but who's going to make that choice and who they be? So anyway, we have a whole lot more to talk about, but tomorrow, bring your pencils and papers to take notes on the important things about fantasy football. This is coming up, and this is all happening, and Brianna knows all about it, and she's done seminars for women that want to get into this so they can talk to their husbands or boyfriends or whatever, and know what they're talking about.
I love fantasy football.
You love it?
Oh, yes.
Oh, please, you need to call in or come by and talk to us, because I have no idea what they're talking about, and but it seems like it'd be a lot of fun.
It is. It's a lot of fun.
Okay, do you do the ones where you win money?
Try.
You do?
I mean, that's the only reason you'd want to get. I would want to get in there is to try to win money.
See, because being brought up, you can't drink, smoke, dance, mixed bathing, or any kind of gambling at all. That even looks like it. Play cards. You can't play cards. That's how I was brought up. And so when I would go to the racetrack with my husband, I would fill out all the card, and then I would win. They get so mad if I would win, because that's just, don't even come here if you're going to do stuff like that. You need to bet on the horses. And I said, well, I'm walking away with what I came in. They lost money, but that was fun to me, and I would stand up and cheer like I had $100,000 on it. But that's what I think the fantasy football thing. That's the only way I could watch the game, is if I had bet on all these guys, then I would watch it. But otherwise, I watch the highlights, and I don't care. And speaking of that, I have to shout out to Jimmy the C, who is usually our Monday morning quarterback. I've moved him to Friday because that way he can tell us what's coming up on the weekend, and then we will pontificate if there's something good. The Houston Texans won last night, so we're really excited about that. Can't believe it.
Oh, wow.
They did. They won. Wow. That's pitiful when you say, the Texans won. Oh, wow. That's sad. You're supposed to say, well, of course they won. But anyway, we've got a lot of stuff, good stuff coming up. And remember the 25th week Go FM. So tell all your friends. It's going to be so much fun. Oh, yeah. We're going to be feel like really... I hope it doesn't change your personality, Joey. I hope you stay the same.
We're going to get the biggest head,
Yeah,
just a big head.
I want you to stay grounded. And Bob, don't start, different people are going to come to you from different magazines. And thank goodness they don't have Playgirl anymore. So they'll come to you and they'll want you to be in the magazine because you're on this show.
Well, I can't do any kind of article like that.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about it.
Okay. That's good. I just want to make sure that you were okay with that. Is that written in is that written in your contract?
There really is, yes.
Oh, wow.
Well, I haven't read all the contract small print that Richard has given us to sign. And maybe some of that is, like, no, Cindy, no. No nude articles. Okay. We will be right back, guys. We're going to be right back tomorrow at 10 o'clock because this show's over. Oh, it's over. All right. We will see you. You guys have a great day. Enjoy. Make somebody happy, would you? Remember, Cindy Cochran Show, Real Reality Radio.
Thanks for checking out this production on Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's radio station. For more information on this show and other shows on Lone Star, check us out online at irlonestar.com. If you're interested in sponsoring a program on Lone Star Community Radio and reaching the local audience of Montgomery County on FM, internet, and TV media, please call 936-647-5747 or contact us online at irlonestar.com. This recording is a Lone Star Community Radio production, produced by the show host and Dick Schisler of Lone Star Community Radio. Interested in volunteering as a music DJ or starting your own talk show? Contact Dick Schisler at dick@irlonestar.com or by phone at 936-647-5747.